Give the man an Oscar. Give the man an Oscar. The production team were like, wow. That's awesome. Beautiful. Gatsby Randolph, welcome to the show.
All started when we shoot the ending Oscar night.
Decide to film a movie. That takes 7 years.
I never made a movie. I'd never written a script.
You went to Hollywood to try and obviously make it as a recording artist.
Hollywood changed the game or played to win. In changing the game, powerful enough, you will win. Hey, get his number. Set up a that's how time is.
I mean, you created a larger-than-life personality.
I felt the world needed Gatsby Randolph.
It's something I've never seen before. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inside Track with me, Luca Allam. Today's guest can't be labeled. Today's guest has done things that most would probably even dream of. He's a man who somehow made a living out of, what's the best way to put this? Being part of celebrity lifestyle, right? Gatsby Randolph, welcome to the show.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Gatsby Randolph, and today is another Hollywood story.
Gatsby Randolph, another red carpet.
I'm a movie star.
Who is Gatsby Randolph? Well,
And I live in Dubai. Everyone assume, oh, Gatsby, of course, Gatsby's an Oscar winner.
When people see me, they need to remember me like they remember James Bond.
His teachers told me he's either going to go to the penitentiary or he may wind up being the president.
He makes everyone fall in love with him.
what do you say to people who just call you a professional party crasher?
There's a difference between a party crasher and a party curator.
Yes, it's Gatsby and Randolph.
Oh, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, my brother. Blessed to be here and survive.
Mate, you look fantastic, first and foremost. It takes a strong man to wear that outfit, but you pull it off seamlessly.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, they didn't really have a lot of, I wanted to, like, all of this I'm wearing, I'm proud to say I designed.
Yeah.
And it's the Gatsby Randolph collection.
Love it.
And I got into clothes just because there wasn't a lot of clothing for my lifestyle. So I just wanted to make clothes for me and my friends and people who have that taste.
Now, off camera, I asked you how to introduce yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you are a film producer, you are a filmmaker, but you weren't always that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy to put someone in a box to label them as something, but you've made your name effectively from, I hate to say it, but kind of gate crashing celebrity parties. That's how it all kind of really took off for you, right?
Yeah, in the beginning. In the beginning, it was definitely like that because what I say is everyone has a day one.
Yeah.
And I think I had a very, had the balls to tell my day one story, but Spielberg had a day one, Oprah had a day one. And so, yeah, day one was definitely like that because I understood that if I could just get in the room, it's a people thing. It's a human connection thing to do the next chapter of life. But again, day one, exactly. No ticket, got to make a ticket.
100%. A lot of people will know you in the States, right? Less so potentially here in the Middle East. So why are you on this show? Why do you think you're on this show? Is it because of your unique story, which we're going to get into? Or is it because actually you have a certain type of charm, right, and characteristic that very few people actually have? And I'll tell you, I think it's both. Because your story is mind-blowing, but the way in which you back it up with who you are is something I've never seen before. And you literally said it yourself when we spoke off camera. You're a sort of a walking, talking, living, fictional character that's also real life.
Yeah, very, Walt Disney-esque, I would like to say, of modern times is that I believe I am the first living movie character to where my life on the big screen is actually what's happening in real life. And then when you meet me, I'm the same person. So I think it's the first time we've seen that. I've been humbled to be the vehicle to display this type of art.
Now, your name Gatsby Randolph, right? You weren't christened Gatsby Randolph. You were
Kobe Randolph.
Kobe Randolph, right? Initially, but a lot of things change, and I've done a bit of research on you and the story that you have, and it's unique. And I do want you to talk to the viewers and listeners about it. First and foremost, though, talk to me about this leopard printed mug that I'm seeing here. What's going on here?
I wanted to bring the vibe today.
Yeah, you brought it, man. You brought it.
Like
the shoes, the outfit, the mug.
And it's like this was the perfect mug to go. Can I curse on this show?
It's okay. We'll be bleeping it later.
Thank
Don't
you.
worry. Yeah.
You even have to bleep with me.
Yeah.
But this was the perfect mug. I said, we said, pick your favorite mug. I was like, what can be my favorite mug? And I looked at what I had on, and I'm in Dubai.
Yeah.
And I was like, everything about this to me screams the elegance of Dubai.
Yeah.
You know, right? So
Yeah.
the cheetah gold trim mug was perfect, I thought.
Yeah. Do you have a leopard print at home?
You know, I do the leopard print like in a lot of the fabrics.
Yeah.
So I have like cashmere throws and silks
Okay.
and leopard print as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do you have a leopard print suit or a leopard print shirt?
I think that's gonna come next.
Okay.
You know, but I have the leopard print silks that are shirts that are in production now.
This was sort of inspired by the inside track, right? So when you're building this together, when you're putting that shirt together, just think about putting a little cheeky logo potentially on the side of that.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Inside track leopard printed logo.
Yeah, it's like a collab. We do like a collab like that.
Well, look, I'm very happy to have you on the show. We bumped into each other a couple of days ago at a premiere, actually the world premiere of a mutual friend of ours, Elijah Long.
Yeah.
Had him on the show. He's a lovely guy. He's obviously launched the movie, but not Beyond the Likes. And you are also a film producer. But like I said at the beginning, you didn't always start off that way.
Yeah.
You started off in music. And from what I know about your story, you went to Hollywood to try and obviously make it as a recording artist. And you had some deals on the table with some of the biggest labels out there. But one way or another, they kind of screwed you over.
Yeah.
Is that right?
The quintessential Hollywood story, because, you know, and specifically in music, I started as a DJ.
Yeah.
And still to today is probably one of my, I think, most perfected gifts. Like I really know my way around turntables.
Yeah.
But I started as a serial entrepreneur. I was managing groups, and after throwing parties and managing groups, I had an imprint deal at Universal Republic that was promised to me.
Yeah.
And day one, I walk in, I'm thinking I'm gonna get $1 million check. This other executive walked in, and I'm that type of guy where it's either I'm your cup of tea or not, maybe, especially back then.
Your leopard print.
Yeah. They're like, I'm not rocking with the leopard print. Who is this guy? You know what I'm saying? Get him out of here. And this guy walked in, everyone loved it, but this one executive, he walked in, and I'm not sure if he was like the final say so or whatever, but he was like, I'm not sure I'll do a deal today. And I literally see this thing get balled up, and at 9 o'clock in the morning, I think I'm gonna get $1 million check. And at 9 o'clock in the evening, I'm homeless, sort of nowhere to go. And that's sort of where the journey began.
You spent 2 days homeless, right?
Yeah, 2 days I was homeless.
And you were about 23? How old were you?
I was 25 years old.
25 years old.
Yeah.
So then you told me something extraordinary. You basically said you put together $1 billion calendar.
Correct.
Which is essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, looking at when the biggest celebrities, where they're going to go, when they're going to go, who's going to be there. And you effectively gate crashed these big celebrity events.
Yeah, the biggest in the world. And here's the thing.
And you came up with that while you were homeless.
Yeah, I came up with that when I was homeless. You know, I call it your best ideas come from struggle.
Okay.
It's the power of imagination via the vehicle of struggle.
Yeah.
So when I'm homeless and I have anywhere to go, I can't really sleep. And I'm thinking, there's a correspondence of information. Like, how does Leonardo DiCaprio or Oprah Winfrey or Barack Obama know exactly where they're going to be? And then you wake up in the morning and they're in People magazine. So how did the photographer know that they were going to be there? How did Leo know that he was supposed to go there? And I needed to intercept that frequency and that information. And I realized that these series of events, whatever the gala is, and not the thing that's the Oscars or New York Fashion Week.
Yeah.
I'm going to be Amphar Gala or LACMA Gala, these other things that, you know, the public doesn't know about. And I was able to put together a calendar of intercepting this information. And from January to all the way to December, all around the world, I have this calendar called the $1 Billion Calendar. And if, you know, you need to find someone that's very hard to find, a Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, this is sort of one of the blueprints. I'm sort of the guy to make it happen. Yeah.
Before I ask any more questions, I always ask my guests for a safe word. I
Okay.
doubt you're going to need it based on who you are, what I know about
But
you.
even me,
What would be your safe word?
Magic.
Magic.
Yeah.
Why magic?
Because I think there is sexiness to privacy. Some things I like the woman who saves some for the imagination.
Okay.
And I think that's.
I didn't think you were going to go down that route.
Yeah, I mean, because I think a conversation is as seductive as romance. So I just think there's some things that should just be left to the imagination. So magic, it's like how did he do that?
Yeah.
Or it's just the magic part.
Are you you with someone at the moment?
Here's the thing.
You're going to say magic. You're going to use magic. First question, magic.
That's probably his magic, but I don't want to do the audience like that. I'm a nice guy. I'm a friendly guy, right? And so I think that you can't, I'm dating because how can I know who I'm supposed to be with if you do believe in like Western world tradition?
Mate, you're sweating. You're sweating over there. I can see it.
You know, I don't know who's going to see this.
You
But
can,
no, I'm
you can
dating.
chat with a Barack Obama, you can chat with Oprah, but answering whether or not you're dating someone, or something else.
No, I'm a friendly guy and I'm dating.
Okay.
And I'm getting to know people.
Okay.
It's a blessed thing.
So there's more than one. Magic. Anyway, look, welcome to the show again.
Thank you, brother.
So you figured out the $1 billion calendar. You know where who's going to be, when, and etc. So you end up basically, correct me if I'm wrong, spending 7 years in the making of a movie that involved you attending these events with celebrities, and that same movie was released in early 2024.
Yep.
So talk to me about what happened.
The most impossible
Crazy
movie to
story.
make.
Crazy story.
The most impossible movie to make. And let me start by saying this. When we first got the idea to make the movie, I wasn't a filmmaker. I had never made a movie. I had never written a script. I read some books and I'm a pretty clever guy. And I'm just, ignorant enough to think I can do anything. And ignorance is a superpower, used the right way. And so I just sort of took that ignorance as bliss and was very ambitious about, let's make this movie. And when I would go into an office, because I knew people in Hollywood, obviously, by this time, and I would go into office, I'm like, this is who's in the movie. This is the story. It's true. And by the way, I'm the lead actor. And they're like, man, what are you taking? What shrooms are these?
Yeah.
I mean, they would think like, this guy has totally lost it. So I went from the crazy guy to there's something weird about this guy to, oh, he may be a little smart. Oh, this is happening. Oh man, we did something we haven't seen. So it was very challenging. And this is like, if you ever seen the movie Bowfinger? Have you ever seen Bowfinger?
Yeah. About when Eddie Murphy makes his own movie about himself being a star, he doesn't know he's being filmed.
Yeah, he doesn't know he's being filmed.
And there's two of them, right? There's two.
Yes, so it's
two
Chevy
Eddie
Chase,
Murphys. Yeah.
and there's two Eddie Murphys, and he doesn't know he's being filmed. We did that for Hollywood for 7 years.
So you both fingered Hollywood.
I both fingered Hollywood, and it was things that like it would be a scene with me and Reese Witherspoon where Reese knows me because we're reenacting things that really happened, but she doesn't know she's in a movie. So I need you to.
Where's the cameraman hiding in all this?
Oh man, there were cameras all around. And so
how did you hide these?
So check this out. I need you to say things in my script that you don't know you're supposed to say because you don't know I'm shooting a movie.
Yeah.
So I would have to lead people into these conversations, right?
Looking around.
And then
these cameras are mine. I'm pretty sure.
We're shooting part 3 right now, by the way.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. And a lot of the film was shot at award shows because that's where the $1 billion calendar was, right? And most people thought that these were just paparazzi because at the time I am very popular. So if there's 5 cameras taking pictures of me, well, actually 3 of those cameras were recording the movie. And then the other 2 are flashing. And then you just think, oh, more paparazzi taking pictures of me and Gatsby. And that's how it sort of naturally played. But for instance, this scene with me and Jay-Z, it's this scene where I give him a cigar. And it's a very crucial part of the movie where he has to accept this cigar. And that took us 2 years to shoot. Because,
you went to 3 locations, right?
Yeah, we had to go everywhere to shoot this scene with Jay-Z. And
you flew to Paris.
All the way from like LA to New York to Paris.
You flew to Paris to give Jay-Z a cigar. And you'd already given him a cigar in New York.
Yeah.
And you've already given him a cigar in
LA.
And
we had, but now
hold on. So just
okay,
because that's not a normal thing. Right?
Okay.
Let's just.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm magicking you now.
Okay.
What's Jay-Z thinking? The same guy is rocking up at 3 different events, right, with a cigar. Like,
He's probably thinking like, this is a very aggressive cigar salesman. This guy really wants me to do an endorsement deal for this Cohiba. You know, he was probably thinking that at first, and then I think that he thought he's a Sagittarius like me, so I'm thinking he thought at some point by the time he saw me in Paris, and in the environment you have to understand, we're not at the gas station here. We're in some very strict rooms. So the third time it was 1 o'clock in the morning in his dressing room in Paris after his concert. And I knew that he would do this party for like 20 people. And so when he saw me there, that's when the time he was like, hey, we got a whole, hey, bring some cigars. We're going to smoke a cigar today. You know, and this sort of was an embracive type moment. And so, but I'm sure in the beginning he was like, either this guy really has something cool to say, or this guy
just got some screws loose.
Exactly.
And the AI image behind you, for those who are listening on audio platforms, there's an AI customized image for you, and in it, the first thing you can see is a cigar right there, right? So do you like that?
I like that. I like that.
If you're nice, we'll give you the picture afterwards.
I appreciate
But
that.
I'm keeping the leopard print mug here.
Okay,
It's going right up on that mantelpiece. Okay, so you're going around the world or in the US and you're gate crashing or these events, whatever, and you decide to film a movie. That takes 7 years. And the ending of the movie actually happens first.
Yes.
And then you kind of work backwards to create the actual movie itself that will culminate in the ending that you first shot.
Yeah, and it all started when we shoot the ending Oscar night at the Vanity Fair Oscar party. And so that's where we shoot the climax scene. And what's the glue that put the film together, because I thought no one will think this movie's real, these things actually happened, if we didn't have tangible, hard things to say, well, how can you make that up? And it's this picture with me, Jay-Z, and my co-star Sean, and I have the Oscar in my hand. And everyone assumes that I had won an Oscar that night.
But you actually took it from someone else.
And I actually,
a friend, right?
Yeah, a spoiler alert, I borrowed an Oscar from someone, and that's how I got to the party. And when I woke up in the morning, I looked at this picture, and I was like, it's this picture that I'm going to make the whole movie around. Because if I can make this moment come to life and tell the story from this retro perspective, my last 10 years will make sense. And so that's how we formed the film. And it, like I said, it got to the point to where even the Oscar scene, we had to shoot it 3 years in a row. And so I had to bring this Oscar to the party 3 years in a row. So the people at BBC and Good Morning America are like, oh my gosh, Gatsby won another Oscar. Yeah. So it's very funny. But
I mean, you created a larger than life personality, right? The whole Gatsby Randolph thing became, you were living it, you were breathing it. And you said earlier, it would be like a Disney character. You become, real life fictional person on screen and off camera. What was that like was it easy for you to adapt to that persona? Was it just you being you, or have you become, Gatsby Randolph and the Kobe Randolph is no longer?
No, I think the Kobe and Gatsby that's sort of like a very superficial layer of it. I think the essence and the authenticity of what it is I grew up to become the character. I grew up to become my favorite movie character. And when I first got to Hollywood, I would look at movies that I like. They say never meet your stars because you're going to be disappointed because you like the characters, you don't really know the person. And so, I love Danny Ocean, but George Clooney is not necessarily like that. You know what I'm saying?
What's he like, George Clooney?
Nice guy, but he's not Danny Ocean, right? And there's other characters like that. So I felt the world needed Gatsby Randolph. I felt Hollywood needed a little bit of the class of Sinatra and Sidney Poitier with the humor of Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, with the young modern pizzazz of it all. We need these characters because we influence the world. And so from the beginning, I've always been into the things that you see in the movie. That's just sort of how I was raised.
When you were a kid, you did like most other Hollywood stars. You did an Oscar speech, right? In front
I did. I did do that. Yeah, you did your homework. Yeah, I did that. And that, I would grab the kitchen spoon and I was in the mirror making a speech. And Mom was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm really working on who should I thank first? And she was like,
I'm not going to spoil it alert, but that might be a question linked to that.
Okay. So, but yeah, I did do that. And that always, again, the ignorance is bliss. Maybe I was just too, ignorant to know how challenging some of these ambitions would be. But to me, I'm like, isn't every 8-year-old practicing this speech?
We all have.
Yeah.
You have a famous, it's growing famous slogan where most people say, fake it till you make it. You have your own take on that. What does that take?
That's dream it till you real life it. Because in the beginning, everyone calls you crazy, right? And then when it happens, and my brother Kanye speaks about this all the time, when it happens, you're like, oh yeah, that does make sense, right? And it's because it's always there.
When you say brother Kanye, you mean Kanye West?
Kanye West.
Okay, no, your actual brother called Kanye. This is Kanye West.
No, this is Kanye West.
What's Kanye West like?
Yeah, we have a really interesting relationship.
Magic.
No, I speak on Ye.
Okay.
I think Ye's a genius. I think that, he doesn't give me as much credit for the influence I've had in certain ways, but we'll talk about, it's whatever. I just we appreciate each other's art and styles as parallels, and I think he's a genius, but I definitely see some of my influence in what he got going.
So you made this movie, and it ended up being successful. You got nominated for a few awards, right?
Yeah, I did. You know,
Playing yourself.
playing myself,
Piggybacking off other people's celebrity fame.
Well, there was
That's
sort
the
of
movie,
just,
but that's the
well,
movie,
but
right?
the movie is really their cameos in my story.
Yeah. Okay.
More than I am in their story. Like I
Okay.
never woke up and said, "Oh my gosh, I gotta go see what P Diddy's doing today." And no, it was just the everyday of my life, and he happens to be the guy who's like Gatsby right now.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and I'm gonna stand on that. A lot of people are like, well, don't say the D word, don't say the Diddy word. I went to his house, went to plenty parties. It was great. I didn't see none of the things that they're talking about. That's my experience, though. You right? So
Elijah said the same thing, by the way.
yeah, that's my experience. I can't speak on everybody else, but oh man, I'm sorry, I got off track. You answered me a question, and
So I was first initially asking you about the difference between Kobe and yourself and playing that character. Then we talked about you becoming very successful as a filmmaker, which ended up creating amazing success, which you got nominated for.
Yes. So I did. I won the pen actually,
but you did it kind of using other people's fame to.
Well, I think that was the Trojan horse.
Yeah.
The Trojan horse or the thing that was the boom to make people look to the left.
That's okay. It's okay to do that because it's a unique kind of concept. I know Bowfinger kind of started that.
Yeah.
Borat to some degree did a bit of that as well. But you were playing you and you're your own brand on camera and off camera.
Yes.
And off the back of the movie, you've done other bits of businesses such as fashion and so on and so forth. So you've created this whole Gatsby Randolph sort of universe, for the best term to use.
That's
I guess,
a really good world,
right?
yeah.
And we're all kind of playing in your universe. That's kind of how you see it?
That's how I see it, right? I believe the world or my apparatus is living in. I've always wanted to live in the world I created, and I believe that I provided an opportunity that's immersive enough for a lot of people to live in the world that I'm creating. And I think it's a beautiful world. I think it's a world of imagination and love. So I encourage more people to opt in to the world. But that is how I see it, is that we're living inside of the movie that I'm creating.
Right, that's great. Look, I've never met anyone like you, honestly. It's and that's why I struggled at the beginning. How do I introduce you to the show? It's not easy. It's not easy. Right, this is the part where you take charge of the show.
Okay, we got that for you. Yeah.
On your right-hand side, just checking which side. Yeah, on your right-hand side, there's a bag. In the bag, my friend, there are a bunch of golf balls. And on the golf balls, there are a bunch of questions that are specific to you. So let's have some fun with it. All right?
Okay, we're going to have some fun with
One
this.
at a time, let's read it out, and we'll take it from there.
All right. I'm scared now. This may be a lot of magic. I'm not sure. It has to be abracadabraing a lot. Okay, all right. Wow, this is out the gate. What is that? What's the question? It says, smoke a cigar with Jay-Z or party with Beyonce.
What would you choose?
I'm partying with B. I'm partying with B. Listen, I listen to a lot of Jay-Z albums. Cool, maybe at 16, I want to smoke a cigar. I think we've had enough cigars together. I think I'm going to party with B.
What's she like?
Always, oh man, she's such a G. She's such a gangster, yo. Because, at the end of the movie, in my honest heart, I think the script reads like she sees it, she kisses it, paparazzi's flash, she gives it back. I think she saw it and read it and knew and was like, oh, I got mad respect for you. And then she hugs me, then it's boom. And it's always been love. I mean, I respect J and B so much, both, because everyone thought I would be like, I don't know, sued, or I would never get the film out. But I've never, like, she's never come out. It's been just a silent support of, we see you. That was clever.
So they supported you?
Yeah.
Indirectly
support. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like how people put money, for Trump's like campaign who didn't say anything, like indirectly.
Yes, I'm with you.
So those type of things.
In terms of power couples, obviously, but perhaps not now, but in general, has there been a bigger power couple in Hollywood?
As far as a couple, on camera or off camera?
You tell me.
Man, I don't know if there's ever been a couple though.
Because a lot of it's BS, what we see.
I just think that it's rare, the timing of when people meet in their journey, more than anything. Like R.P. Quincy Jones is a legend, definitely mentor, supporter of mine. And the man, when I take someone like Quincy Jones, so much of his journey was driven to his purpose of becoming the legend, that it's rare that you meet someone of equal yoke at the right time. It's usually like, okay, when I get it, like Steve Harvey. I love Steve Harvey, love his wife, but I'm already Steve Harvey, and then I go marry who makes me happy. It's rare in their careers. They were both like
Grow at the same rate.
growing at the same rate, made it happen, and then grew exponentially more, right? I think that's the rare part of that situation. So,
Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, do they come close?
impact-wise, financially, business moves, yes. But impact-wise, I don't know if everyone's like wearing green because they say we're green. You know what I mean? So I'm not a hater. You know, we've definitely had our differences, me and Jay, but I ain't no hater. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'll give credit where credit's due.
All right, so the cigar's out, Beyonce's in. Love it.
Beyonce's in for
Let's
me.
do the next question.
All right.
Love it. Easy stuff, by the way. That's an easy one.
All right, cool. Oh, wow. Who's the fakest person in Hollywood? Oh, man, the fakest people in Hollywood are producers are the fakest people. Can I say it like that? Can I do a generality?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
can.
because no one wants to say no, right? That's Hollywood's the place is like, it's the only place where you can go to bed broke and wake up very wealthy based on IP.
Yeah.
And so no one wants to be the person who's on the wrong side of history. So they won't tell you no. You know how many deals were strung along and strung along and strung along? You know, I'm spending every dollar, finna be homeless again, and just say no if you can't do it, right?
But why? But why? Is it because they're just worried about the eventual sort of turnout? If they ended up being wrong, they missed out on a potential massive windfall.
Yeah, that's it. That's
so
it.
It's just about future protecting themselves.
Yep.
Rather than just being indecisive.
No one wants to make an enemy, but no one wants to bet on you either.
Yeah.
Hollywood responds to the marketplace.
So then by definition, can you have friends in Hollywood?
Man, you can have a lot of associates. You're going to have very few friends. I'm not saying this because I'm on this show. Elijah's one. I thought Elijah was AI. I was like, this can't be real. The type of support and love he gave me, I was like, this can't be real. And I met Elijah 12 years ago in Hollywood. But when I got here, the way that some of the mountains he moved was like unprecedented, which is a very un-Hollywood thing because everyone is like, should I use this one favor? Should I use this one match I have to strike it on what you have? Or should I say this? You know? So I don't think it's on purpose. I think we must understand Hollywood is a place made up of a lot of talented people coming from a lot of different places, and they have their own island. So there's the island of Drake, the island of Kanye, the island of Gatsby Randolph, whoever. And so when you see them at a award show, it seems like everyone's friend, right?
Yeah, they have to be. They're playing.
But they're just playing a role. They haven't talked to these people in 6 months. If they're in the studio working on a project with them or something like that, right? So that's sort of the nature of the beast. And I think when you're mature, you sort of go into it knowing the expectation.
Okay. So there's a lot of fake people, mainly producers. And no one wants to say no.
No one wants to say no.
And everyone wants to try and be on your side, but never stick their neck out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Jeff Bezos stuck his neck out for me. I'll never forget that.
He but when you were marketing your movie, he took the distribution rights, right?
Yeah.
On Amazon.
Yeah, when no one would.
Yeah.
When no one would.
But the other guys came knocking, right?
They came knocking.
All the big studios wanted to take
Paramount and my bro, I know you tried. Thank you. Well, Paramount, MGM, and then the smaller ones like Heartbeat went through a long thing with Kevin Hart's people. And I just think it came down to either, okay, he figured out a way to do this and he made the film, give it to us, let's scratch and remake it, and make Leonardo DiCaprio this guy. It was a lot of that. Or make Kevin Hart this guy. And I'm like, what? Doesn't make any sense. No one can be me but me. And so I had to be very Sylvester Stallone in this spirit and say, no, I got to play Rocky type thing.
Yeah.
And so when I wouldn't sell, I went through my stint with Rock Nation. It was the first people like, oh, we like the story and we're going to make it's one of our films. But when I wouldn't sell, there was just basically like, well, this movie's never going to see the light of day then.
Yeah.
It'll be on your laptop. And then that's when
Big Jeff
stepped in.
JB.
And you know how we got cool?
Yeah.
It was because I'm good. So I must thank Scottie Pippen. Jeff is a Bulls fan, and me and Scottie are like this. And so we were running around town together. We were at a party, and Jeff's like, who is this guy? Everyone knows him. And, I said some quirky little funny things he liked, and that's how we got our relationship. And he's like, yo, we'll do it.
So you've name dropped a few very famous people. Who is the most famous person on your phone?
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
He's a supporter. He's Team Gatsby Randolph. Between Lionel Richie and Tom Hanks, they both.
Lionel Richie.
And Lionel Richie.
Lionel. He loves Dubai, by the way. He's always in Dubai.
He's coming.
Yeah, I've seen him like 5 times.
Yeah, Lionel's my guy. Like he's like my
and he
closest.
Doesn't age. Lionel is
he
the
does
same.
not. He does
Hello,
not.
is it me you're looking for? Join me in, but Gatsby, come on, you're the star here.
Yeah,
I can see it in your eyes.
I'm more of a turntablist. I'll let you do the singing. But the thing about Philano, him and my granddad were good friends.
Okay.
So we have a family. We have a lot of family. They both went to school in Tuskegee, Alabama.
He looks like a good guy, Lionel Richie. And
Great guy.
Tom Hanks looks like a good guy.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Great. And Tom, and I think you hit a certain point of your career with these older legends to where they can see themselves at your stage. And they're
They
like,
want to help you out.
They know. And they're like, yo, Tom was like, yo, who's your agent? And I was like, I'm independent. No, we need to be at CAA. Hey, get his number. Set up a That's how Tom is.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, give a 30-second Oscar-winning speech for Best Director.
Okay, I want you to look into this camera, right?
Okay.
And I want you to give your best ever, right? Take off the glasses.
Yeah, I have
take off the glasses.
For this, I have to.
Take off the. Look in the camera and give your best ever Oscar-winning speech. 30 seconds for winning Best Movie.
Yeah.
Just go back to as an 8-year-old kid. Yeah.
You know, for years I thought long and hard, as we all do, about this night. And as I was sitting in bed, praying that whatever tomorrow may bring, if I'm on this stage, what would I say? And what's brought on my heart to say right now is not what I was going to say, but I think it's appropriate. Everything that you see, this nice building, the decor, the flowers, the champagne, this building is just a building, but this moment is everything. And I think that what I represent, what this film represents, what this community represents, is a moment in time. And let's not take that for granted. God bless.
Give the man an Oscar. Give the man an Oscar. The production team were like, wow. That's awesome. Beautiful.
Yes.
How many times did you practice that?
Well, actually, that's what I say in the film. Actually, when people interview me in the film, that's what I say, because everyone thought I had won.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Love it.
So
very good, mate. Really good.
Thank you. Fame is money, or fame comes at a cost?
So, in your opinion, what rings more true? Fame is money, or fame comes at a cost?
Nah, fame is money. Fame is money.
Nah, you would say that.
Nah, forget the BS, because listen, I'm not here to win brownie points. I want to give it to you insights, right? It's insights.
I want insights, man. That's what we're hunting them.
So really, give me the fame over the money, because we live in a society now where you see in Trump's win, and I don't know when this is going to air, but he'll still be president. The influence is currency, and if I'm strictly talking from a business, not morally anything, just business. With the influence, you can go print money. What it costs? Well, everything costs. That divorce gonna cost. And I'd rather have my divorce famous than broken, I mean, if I gotta get a divorce. So things are gonna cost in life, period. No matter what it is. You wanna go build a spaceship, it's gonna cost. But Elon Musk is gonna have an easier time getting to space than the regular guy. And I think that there is value in influence, and you can't, and I think, I'm put it simple like this. I think Kim Kardashian is one of the smartest women on earth. I think people say she's not talented, or when they compare her to Beyonce, I think she's way more talented than Beyonce. She got everything she did and she ain't sing a note. You know what I'm saying? So there's a mental science to understanding personal worth and projecting that and demanding from the universe what you deserve. And so I think that with fame, you can print as much money as you want.
Thank you for being genuine.
Yeah.
I love that answer, because it's authentically you. Next question. Easy so far?
Man, these are great, bro. This is like the best podcast. I can't wait to see it. It's the best podcast I've ever done.
Sure. Call it a show. Yeah. You entertainment. You bring the magic.
Alter egos. Perfect way to cover up or to help uncover.
So when people put on an alter ego, they're covering up an insecurity. They act as it's a defense mechanism somehow. Or some people put it on to help uncover certain stereotypes or opinions of others, right? So Sacha Baron Cohen, for example, he's had Ali G, he's had Borat, he's had Bruno, and he does them also to sort of uncover what people really think about a certain type of culture, nationality, religion, etc. So for you, when you think of alter egos, are they just people with insecurities, or are they doing it to try and expose other people?
Yeah, I think it's to highlight and shed light on things that sometimes are obvious that people aren't talking about, right? And I think that the pink elephant in the room, even though it's sometimes awkward, I think if you go straight at it, we can get to our understanding that brings conversation. It's all about conversation because then we can get to the second layer of beliefs, our belief system, right? So yeah, I don't think it's at least for me, it wasn't. I was very comfortable who I was. And I just, again, the alter ego gave me a way to unapologetically show what needed to be showed. Yeah.
There's an elephant in the room. You mentioned elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And you're wearing pink.
Yeah.
Man, you're on brand. You're smashing it.
I am.
So do you think that a lot of people play, especially in Hollywood, they play up a certain role because they think if they don't, they are going to get found out. So they have to sort of act in a different way their entire career, their entire life?
Well, I think people
actually being real and they only turn it on for the camera. Like, what's your take on that?
No. You know what I think? To go on that. One, I think it's a few cases. I think it's about, but probably broken into 3 categories very briefly. I think that the average celebrity, not megastar, people are one-dimensional. I think people are really known for doing one thing well, and then the world gives them credit for having all this other knowledge and richness in other areas that just aren't true. Like Michael Jordan dribbles the basketball really good. So why do you care about who's voting for president? I remember that was a thing in the 90s, right? And but then there's some people who come along who can just do one more thing extra, a Kanye, a Pharrell, a Jay, and that other dimension gives them depth that really takes off and shines, right? Jamie Foxx is a great one at that. And so, and then I think that the third thing is, and I'm talking about just the levels, right, of when they turn these things on and turn them off, is you have some people who do the reverse psychology in performance. Lakeith Stanfield, I think, does as well. He may hate me for saying this. I like Lakeith, but I think, he may, I don't know. I'm giving away his secret or not. So allegedly he does this, right? If you watch Lakeith on a film, he's like soul brother number one, down, blah, blah, blah. It's like he can be in any gangster film, any political film, and he's going to be, man, that guy could play Malcolm. That's a soul brother right there. And then when you watch his social media, he's total opposite. He's like polar, like you would think like he's a mute or... I'm like, there's no way I think he's actually acting. In his real life, he's acting. And then when he's on camera, he's a real person. He's a real person. You know what I mean? So even me, I thought about that strategy once. I was going to be like, you know what? When people see this movie, they're like, this guy's so loud and abstract. So I'm just going to be quiet.
What would give them that impression based on what you're wearing?
I don't know, right? I'll give it away. But I was like, I'm going to dress in all black and be quiet. Yeah. Like a mute. And then they'll be like, oh my gosh, his performance is so great. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of tactics like that. So I don't think, but I think those are usually the categories. Those
and there is a sort of being cool by association. So let's say you're on the red carpet at the Oscars. You know that someone's really in at the moment, like they're the flavor of the month, whatever. Do you see like A-listers going up to have their photos taken closer to them to be proximity to sort of?
Oh yeah.
Do you see that level of BS when it comes to?
Oh man,
people?
100%. Yeah. That's why the movie works so well. Yeah. And you know what I used to do is because when everyone and Tupac had this too, because I was a renegade, once I made it in, there was no rules with me. No one can control me. There's no manager or agent like, you can't do that.
You're a loose cannon.
I'm a loose cannon, right? And so first thing I would do every day was I would come in and I would, my bravado would be like, hey, more champagne, get some champagne. What a caviar at, baby? And so I would grab these bottles of I would be like, give me 10 bottles of Dom Perignon. And then I would just start passing. I would stand up on the highest thing and I start passing them out, right? And the people would be like, oh my gosh. One time Jennifer Aniston was talking to Reese Witherspoon. She's like, who is this guy? And Reese was like, Gatsby. Everyone knows Gatsby. He even introduced me to the president once. And actually I did. I introduced her to Bill Clinton at dinner once.
What?
And, yeah. Yeah. And so,
dude, who are you?
And so the thing was, and to give you a brief play how that went, I'm at dinner with Sean Penn at this gala, and I'm inviting people to this big Oscar party that I'm going to throw. And I'm like, how do I get everybody excited about it? And Reese walks in, and then Bill Clinton walked in. My grandfather was sort of famous, so Bill Clinton knew my grandfather. And I was like, when Bill walked in, I said, Dr. John Montgomery. He's like, who said that? I said, that's my grandfather. Oh man, your grandfather's very, a stand-up guy. I said, 1 minute, Mr. President, have you ever met a good friend of mine? She's a little shy. I want to bring her over. Who? I said, have you ever met Reese Witherspoon? Reese, my wife loves Reese. 1 minute.
Wow.
And I went over to Reese and she's
you,
like,
look at you, look at you.
Reese is like, hey, party boy. I said, hey, I hate to do this. Really close friend of the family, so the show I want to bring him over. Have you ever met Bill? It's like, who? The president? I'm like, yeah, Uncle Bill. So that's sort of how
That's crazy.
that went.
And in Reese's eyes, you're like literally, you're God. You're bringing the president to her.
She's very supportive.
Yeah, it takes a very smart, opportunistic, intelligent, charming person to be able to capture a moment. You mentioned a moment in your speech, to know exactly what you need to say in that precise moment to get the outcome that you want. Because you only get it once.
Yeah.
So you've been able to basically master the control of a situation, whatever it is, to be able to maximize its potential to get you what you want. That's just genius, by the way.
Well, thank you. When you say it like that, I don't want to come off as selfish, but
that's a very smart thing to do. And look, and it's linked to being charming, And I don't want to talk too much earlier because there's a question later about charm, but it's it takes a certain level of charisma to be able to pull that off. Confidence as well. Some will call it arrogance. Some may call it, but they probably don't have what you have and that inner belief. But I'm telling you, it's very, very difficult to be able to pull off a social connection in that kind of setting and make it successful without looking like you have egg on your face.
Yeah,
I'm paying you a compliment.
I was going to say I'm very humble about those words. First, heard it put like that, and has
you can say I'm being insightful.
You are. You're being very insightful. You're very on brand. What I want the listeners to know, and I want to make sure this comes through very clear, is authenticity is the most potent frequency and vibration on earth. And I think that no matter where we come from, what our backgrounds are, that there's a human texture that we all relate to. There's an ideal, like, a sunny day at the park, eating a fresh hot dog, walking the dog, riding a horse, playing tennis. These are just ideals it's like my life is a romantic comedy. Like that's the world. Like there's never raining in a romantic comedy unless that's the scene where everyone's sad, right? And so I think that if we approach conversations and finding the common ground in the first 15 seconds, there is a warmth that's provided. And that's really what it is. You know what I mean?
And you mentioned horses. You have 12 horses.
Yeah.
And it's not normal.
Well, and
you're like, I got 12 horses.
So
I mean, you don't look like a horse rider. I mean, I'm sorry to say, but you don't typically strike me as someone who rides horses. Do you ride a lot of horses?
Black people ride horses.
It's based on your outfit.
Oh, okay.
It's the shiny shoes. It's the pink shirt.
I just mess with you. So this is not my question attire. I'm even at a polo, I wouldn't wear this.
Yeah.
This is more my pool side. It's hot outside. I'm in Dubai. But I'm like,
I love horses. I love riding horses.
Man, that's like my favorite pastime.
One of the best feelings. If you're galloping on a horse and you're literally, I've done it in a few different parts of the world. My favorite part was actually in Mongolia. Long story, but I found myself in the middle of Mongolia on a horse, literally galloping through the plains of Mongolia. And it's a country that has more animals than people. You don't see anyone. You can go for literally hundreds of miles in every direction. You won't see anyone, but you'll see a lot of wild animals. And I tell you, in those moments when I'm riding that horse, that's when you feel most alive. You feel so connected to nature. Yeah. You feel so connected to life, to the earth. It's such a wonderful feeling.
It is.
So I envy you and your 12 horses, by the way. Next time I come to LA, I'm taking one of those horses.
Well, you have to come to Tennessee. That's what the ranch
Tennessee,
is.
Sorry, I beg your pardon.
Where the ranch is. And my brother's a true cowboy.
Is he really?
Every time I look up, I make sure we still have 12 because he sells one. Because he always selling them for a better horse, right? He's like, you'll take these 5 crappy horses and give me one Ferrari.
I love it.
But do you now, see, I ride bareback.
Yeah.
That's like the last 6 months.
See, a lot of people watching or listening would probably take that in a different way.
Oh, magic. So, oh my God. So what that means is I don't need a saddle. I don't need anything.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm with you.
And so, and now I don't even use the reins. It's just literally me on the horse.
So the horse rides you.
I had this tutorial. It's not appropriate.
That's leg power, baby. Leg power. Next question.
Okay, next question. Okay, we have one advice you would give someone going to Hollywood.
So, someone like Tom Hanks try to help you out. Right now, there's a 23-year-old, 24-year-old, 25-year-old who finds himself homeless and he's desperate to make it in Hollywood. What advice would you give?
Man, I'm not saying this. I'm not just saying this to be that guy. Well, you really should just watch who was Gatsby Randolph the movie. Like if an alien came, everything you need to know to be successful is sort of in this film. But if you didn't have Amazon Prime, or you didn't have Shameless Plug, or if you didn't have whatever, I would say understanding that Hollywood does not need the next model, stylist, screenwriter, leading man. Hollywood needs you. And it's the new version, the better version of what we've seen that's going to keep pushing the needle forward on culture. So I think that you finding the confidence to be authentically you in the room and knowing that you're a value add versus a plus one, keep that and break all the rules. There are no rules. That's the most, the biggest thing that Hollywood gatekeepers want you to think that rules apply. It's a place where there are no rules. Break every rule there is. And stay ignorant and stay that kid at 8 years old. Whatever idea at 8 years old, that's the one that's going to work.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Good advice. Gatsby Randolph.
The
The movie. Amazon Prime.
Shameless plug. Okay, so I think this is the last. Oh, we got one more. Charm in an AI world. Redundant or never been more necessary.
So, let me explain what I mean by this question. Being charming now is becoming, you could question, because of the advent of AI, right? AI is in everything. Is it more necessary than ever before because AI and technology is taking over the planet, or seems to be taking over a lot of industries? Or is it unnecessary because you just don't need it anymore?
No, it's very necessary because...
Has it ever been more necessary?
It's more necessary now because it's allowed a person who has great inspiration, ideas, and taste, but can't execute those ideas because they don't have the expertise. And they can't afford to hire people who have the expertise. So now it's the battle of ideas. Like if I and I do this is no thing. And I don't think that any woman would hold this against me. Sometimes I want to say something clever to a woman, right?
On a dating app, let's say. Because most people date through apps, right?
Yeah, well, okay. I'm not on dating apps, but okay.
But that's kind of what I'm getting towards, because AI and tech, sorry to interrupt, AI and tech has made it that the dating is now becoming, if you like, based on an algorithm of what you're putting in and what you're looking for. So the art of going up to in a bar, right, to talk to a girl, or in a library, or any public place in a park, the art of that, like having that conversation, is a dying art, isn't it?
It's not. Well, I just think it filters it so we don't waste time. Because here's the thing: if I don't want to find out when we're at Turks and Caicos on this beautiful chateau overlooking the sea, and then we turn on your iPad, and you don't like Sade. That's going to be a real letdown.
He doesn't
you know
like
what I'm saying?
Sade.
So I need the algorithm to say all the Sade lovers, they're over here.
Yeah.
All the whatever lovers, whatever, they're over there. And so I just think because at the end of the day, we still got to be humans though. Yeah. Right? So I just think the filtering process says, this taste level, this lifestyle, you're probably over here. Obviously, the things that make us human still have to be there, right? And for me, sometimes, for instance, I want to say something nice to a lady that's insightful. And I say, hey, this is the feeling that I'm trying to convey in this message. Polish this for me. And it comes out perfect. And sweetheart, this is what I really mean. I'm not smart enough to do this, but with the help of my friend, this is what my true intentions are. This is what I mean.
Today's culture, is it becoming more and more singular? Everyone's sort of acting the same, saying the right things, doing the right things, because that's kind of what they've been programmed to say to help push their social media agendas or whatever. Or is it a case where now everyone has to be their own authentic self to be successful?
That's what I think.
But with that, not a lot of people have charm, right? Yeah. It's difficult to have charm. And if you're going to ask, if someone, a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old asks you, Gatsby, what is charm to you? How would you explain it? Because not everyone necessarily has it, right?
Yeah.
Or do you believe everyone has it? And it's about how
I believe we all have the ingredients that make the human. And now we have a lot of pepper or little pepper, a little of what, right? And then we work on that. That's a muscle that we work on. So no different than LeBron James worked on jump shots, I worked on lifestyle the same amount of hours. So I understand the human experience because I have a PhD in vibes. You know what I mean? I'm the Michael Jordan of that. You know what I mean? So if another person were to work on it, they would get it too. That's going to come with so much life experience. That's going to come with so much. Every girl who I said something to when I was 12, they didn't like it. I remember cooking dinner. I cooked a lobster dinner at 14 years old for a girl, and I thought that she would be my girl. She got back with a boyfriend and went and had chicken nuggets. You know what I'm saying? I learned a very valuable lesson that day. So I just think at this version of myself, it's the LeBron James version of just the lifestyle.
And vibes. Absolutely. When I was coming up with that question, I kind of wanted you to have that kind of answer. So I'm so glad we got there.
Yeah.
Love it. How many more left do we have in the
We
bag?
only got one more.
We only got one more.
This is fun. You know what's fun? Time flies. Hollywood. Change the game or play to win.
So you kind of mentioned it a little bit before about there are no rules. So do you try and change the game, which is kind of what you've done? Or do you play the game, right, and actually win? Because when you change the game, there's no guarantee you're going to win, right?
Most artists die broke. And that's a serious challenge I had to look in the mirror and say, you know, do I take the Basquiat route or do I take the Walmart route? You know, Basquiat's selling for hundreds of millions today, but he died broke.
Yeah.
And a lot of pioneers do. So what I found out is pioneer enough, do creatives enough that if I die today, I'm totally fine with the legacy I've left. And so if I never make another movie, I'm totally fine. If I never do anything more than what a person can see on my website, I'm fine. And now it's about meeting the market where they are. I understand that this IP may be literally, 15, 20 years in the future. And so I'm working backwards to meet the market where it is. And that was only 24 hours in a day. So other movies haven't been made because I'm taking that backwards journey to meet people where they are so they really understand what I've done in this. And that's my medium, because you do have to make that decision. Either I've turned down so many TV shows and reality shows and blah, 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 because it wasn't authentic to, again, if I die today, what am I going to leave on this earth? So
if you die today, this is the last interview you're ever going to have.
And I'm very satisfied with that.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that, man.
I'm very satisfied with that. So, so Hollywood changed the game or play it to win. I think there's a little bit of both.
Choose one.
If I got to pick one, you got to change the game. And everything else will fall in place. But you got to change the game. And in changing the game, powerful enough, you will win.
Yeah. So Gatsby, thank you for the questions. You enjoy that?
Man, very well thought out. Very smart.
Thank you very much.
Very smart production team.
I appreciate that. It's not over.
Okay.
I've got one more ball left. Okay. This ball is a blank ball. Okay. And I'm going to give it to you. You can say anything that you want to say that you haven't already said, or you can ask anything that you want to ask that we haven't yet talked about.
Okay.
And no, I'm not going to give you a 30-second speech for best director. Anything that you want to say or ask. You have the power.
Okay. And it's a little both. I think Dubai is the most magical place on earth currently today. But why do you think, or do you think Dubai is magical? You think there's actually magic? And this magic you can speak about, it's not a psych word. But do you think that there's something about the geographical location of this place that makes it as whimsical and anything is possible?
Great question. Dubai is unlike anywhere I've ever been. And I like to think of myself as a relatively well-traveled person. I grew up between the UK and Nigeria in Africa. My mom is from Italy and my dad is Lebanese. I've traveled to all parts of the States, Far East. I haven't been to Australia. That's on my to-do list. But out of all the places I've ever been to, this is the place where I feel that everyone can belong in Dubai, and yet no one can belong in Dubai. It has a leadership vision that I've never seen before. You see, if you ask people of 20 years ago, name 3 inspirational leaders, okay? Most people would have put Nelson Mandela within that top 3, for argument's sake. If you ask the same question now, name 3 inspirational world leaders, very few could answer with 3 names. The first name that comes to mind is the Sheikh Mohammed and what his vision has enabled to Dubai to become. And it's something unlike anything else. what they've created in a relatively short period of time is phenomenal. The infrastructure, the safety, the security, the futuristic ambitions, the togetherness, the culture, the unity. It's a city where people can make money. It's a city where people can flourish and be who they want to be. And there's enough different nationalities and cultures where you can start to learn and appreciate other people and other regions. So I really do believe that Dubai is the example to this world of what life should look like. In the parts of the Middle East, as we're filming this, there's all kinds of war happening, right? There's atrocities that are being committed. There's also atrocities being committed in parts of Asia and in Africa, and of course what's happening in Eastern Europe as well. That will never happen here. It won't be allowed here because of how the country, how the city is being built. In fact, as the UAE in general, how it's being run. And that's down to the fantastic leadership. And I think once you have a benevolent leader, everything is possible. Every dream can be made. And if that's magic for you, then it's magic for you. If it's stability for some, then it's stability for others. It's whatever that person needs. Dubai is a city that can offer that.
I totally agree. Totally 100% agree. That's why, and I told my mom this, leaving Dubai, the first time I came and I put the movie out, and Elijah told me, said, bro, you're going to cry on the plane. I'm like, get out of here. I cried on the plane. It was because this will forever, like when Sinatra always had a place in like California and in Vegas, I will always have home in Dubai because Dubai was really the commercial birth of Gatsby Randolph. It was the first place to put me on the big screen effortlessly, and everyone embraced it. And Chris Fade is like, come down, and this is like the theater. You don't know how I got my deal. And I'll be very brief.
That's all right.
Literally, I was like, the world needs Dubai is the place where the first real life movie character exists. Like, it's like Sinatra in Vegas. You're walking down the street, you may see Gatsby Randolph. And I was calling all these Hollywood people to help do this distribution. And then I literally just went to the concession stand. I made up in my mind, today, this movie in my pocket is going on this screen. And I go to the concession stand at Dubai Mall. I said, give me the biggest theater. They said, I was in Blue Water. They said, you go to Dubai Mall. I said, that's the biggest? Yes, go there. That's the biggest movie theater. And I go. And I walk up, and Lay says, you want a ticket? I was like, I don't need a ticket. He's like, well, you want popcorn? I said, I want popcorn. What do you want? I want my movie to play. I said, I have a movie in my pocket, and I'm a movie star. And this is where I've been led to. And she's like,
what do you say to that?
Yeah. And so then she says, well,
just one moment.
Yeah, one moment. It's just like she calls the manager. There's an American movie star, and he has a movie, and
he wants popcorn.
Yeah, he wants popcorn. What do you do? And the manager comes out. I said, listen, it's gonna sound crazy. I'm an American movie star. I got a movie in my pocket. I'm the star of it, and he's going to screen.
Yeah.
And he says, no, call Paramount. You call your like. They didn't believe that I control what was in my pocket. They're like, no, you have to call, the distribution company. I said, I am the distribution.
Yeah.
They're like, but I thought you're in it. I am in it. And then they said, okay, 1 minute. The programmer, the program director, the buyer happened to be in the cinema that day.
That's destiny.
And walked up and was like, what's going on? How can I help? I said, listen, this is going to sound crazy, but for the third time, and everyone's joining me now, he's a movie star. The movie's going on the big screen, and he doesn't want popcorn. And so he's like, let me take a look at this real quick. And then he Googles it. He's like, oh, because at this time it's already on Amazon Prime. He's like, you have a 8 out of 10 on IMDb. And then he looks like, you want some awards. You're like, you want to put the movie out? We're going to do it. We want this movie in this theater. Email me a link. And he read one email and said, yep, you're going to be coming out in 6 weeks. And that's how the movie came out.
So is there going to be a second movie? Is there going to be a second Gatsby
Yes,
Randolph number 2?
Man, we're 80% done. When we shot.
Can I have a little walk-on part in Dubai, perhaps?
Man, please. This is probably going to be in it.
Where are by the way, I keep looking for the cameras.
Yeah. Well, these are it. This is probably going to be part of
these guys are part of the team.
Yeah.
Right? You're paying them more than I am. They're implanted.
So, but half of the movie shot in Dubai, half of it shot in Capri.
Beautiful.
And so it's the character 10 years later.
Beautiful.
So where part 1 leaves off 10 years later, it's where he's at now. Now he's Gatsby International.
Man, I can't wait to watch it. Look, you've been a fantastic guest. I've never met anyone like you. I don't think
Thank
I
you.
ever
Humble,
will
brother.
meet someone like
I'm
you.
humbled by that.
And I genuinely wish you nothing but the very best in the future. You're you, and you're a persona. You're bigger than life. You're larger than life. But you fit enough into my seat, so I'm happy with that.
Thank you, man. Hopefully,
and you look good doing it as well. So best
you.
of luck.
Humble.
Best of luck, buddy.
Thanks for having me. I love Dubai.
Guys, what an episode. Please like, subscribe, and share. And join me on the next week's episode of The Inside Track.